I want to go right to Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon right now to update us on some news regarding Afghanistan. Jennifer.
Neil, we've just heard from sources on the ground in Afghanistan that Taliban guards at the airport are saying that the last American warplanes have left Kabul airport. There are no more U.S. warplanes at that airport. The American presence is gone from the airport. I can confirm with multiple U.S. officials that I've spoken to in recent moments, America's longest war is officially over. In fact, the last military transport plane took off and is almost out of Afghan airspace. It's at the border as we speak. So what we can say right now is that America's longest war is over. We expect a briefing here at the Pentagon any minute. If we look back on the cost of this war, Neil, 2,461 Americans killed in action, 13 of them in just the last week as they were carrying out this humanitarian mission to bring Americans and their allies to safety. 6,000 Americans evacuated since August 14th. 122,000 Afghan allies. In the past 20 years of war, more than 20,000 American service members were wounded fighting against the Taliban, the very same group that harbored the al-Qaeda terrorists who struck the United States on September 11th. That same group marched into Kabul on August 14th of this year, 20 years later. Today, they are back in control of Kabul. Neil.
So, Jennifer, the last plane left today. Do you know how many were evacuated today?
We do not have any of those figures. I know that in the last 24 hours, as of 3 a.m., 1,200 people were evacuated. We understand that as of now, the total Americans who might be left on the ground in Afghanistan, and the State Department says that it's about 250. They're making arrangements now that the U.S. military is gone from Kabul airport. They're making other arrangements with partners and allies to try and get those Americans, if they do actually want to leave Afghanistan, to get them safe passage. But we can report right now that the last U.S. warplanes left Kabul airport and are on their way to safety.
So the remaining 23 hours or so of our presence in Afghanistan will be about what? Getting remaining military personnel, attachés, those types out of the country?
No.
Essentially closing up shop?
Actually, Neil, as of midnight Kabul time, those last warplanes took off. So all Americans are gone from Afghanistan in terms of U.S. military, in terms of diplomats. The war is officially over.
So all Americans are gone right now, as we speak?
All U.S. military personnel, all State Department personnel were on those final flights, and those flights took off from Kabul airport. We've confirmed it with U.S. officials, and we also have confirmation from Taliban officials at the airport who say that the last U.S. flights left.
Do those who've been waiting, the many who've been waiting in Kabul and in these other areas to be jetted out of the country, are they aware of this, do you know?
I believe that given the security considerations, that is not something that was communicated per se, but they would certainly have seen the gates being closed, the gates being sealed. But now the Taliban has announced that it's in control of the airport, and there were negotiations taking place with NATO allies, with the Turks, as well as the Qataris, to work with the Taliban to try and reopen that airport at some point to civilian aircraft. But right now, the last U.S. warplanes are nearly out of Afghan airspace. In fact, they may have. In fact, as of right now, they are out of Afghan airspace. They were going to cross 2 minutes ago. So the last U.S. forces are out of Afghanistan.
You know, Jennifer, I keep putting on a spot. I don't mean to, but you know the area and the people there so well. For the thousands who were waiting to get out of there, what is their fate?
I think you can't put too fine a point on it that we don't know what happens next in Afghanistan.